I welcome you all. Today we are going to discuss about the engineering materials. The content of this lecture are crystal structures, heat treatment, iron carbon equilibrium phase, engineering stress strain plot, and gate question and answers. Crystal structure. A crystalline material is one in which the atoms are situated in repeating or periodic array over large atomic distance. Lattice means three-dimensional array of point coinciding with atom position. Crystal structure is often convenient to subdivide the structure into small repeat entities. This is known as unit cell. Metallic crystal structures, we have four types. First one is simple cubic structure, face-centered cubic structure, body-centered cubic structure, hexagonal closed packed structure. Simple cubic structure is rare due to poor packing. Closed pack directions or cube edges. We have atomic packing factor. It is the ratio of volume of atoms in unit cell to the volume of unit cell. In simple cubic structure, atomic packing factor is 0.52. Here, closed pack direction contains one atom per unit cell, that is 8 into 1 by 8. So this is the A, and this is R, which is equal to 0.5 A. So atomic packing factor can be calculated by atom of unit cell into volume of atom divided by volume of unit cell. So this is what here. So this is the volume of atom, 4 by 3 pi r cube. So here R is 0.5. After getting, we are getting 0.52. Then first centered cubic structure. Here closed packed direction or face diagonals. Coordination is 12. Here length is 4r. So this is 2r, r, r. So totally 4r. So that is equal to root of 2a. Unit cell contains 4 atoms per unit cell. So while calculating APF, atomic packing factor, which is equal to atom unit cell into volume of atom divided by volume of unit cell. So we are getting the atomic packing factor for FCC, face-centered cubic structures, 0.74. Then we have body-centered cubic structure. Here the closed packed direction or cubic diagonals, coordination 8. So unit cell contains 2 atom, APF, which is equal to 2 into volume of atom divided by volume of unit cell. So we are getting APF as the 0.8. Hexagonal closed pack structure, HCP. Here coordination is 12. APF is 0.74. Here we have A site at the top, A site at the bottom. Then we have the B site at the middle. Crystal system, X, Y, Z or axis. Lattice parameters are ABC, that is represents 3 edge length. Alpha, beta, gamma are the 3 interaxial angles. So this is the summary of crystal system. Cubic, we have 3 equal axes mutually perpendicular, A, B, C. Three are equal, alpha, beta, gamma, which gives the 90 degree. Tetragonal, 3 perpendicular axes, only 2 equal. A equal to B, which is not equal to C. Alpha, beta, gamma, which is equal to 90 degree. Hexagonal, 3 equal coplanar axes at 120 degree and fourth unequal axis perpendicular to their plane. A equal to B, not equal to C. Alpha equal to beta equal to 90 degree. Gamma 120 degree. Rhombohedral, three equal axes not at right angles. Alpha A, B, C are equal. Alpha equal to beta equal to gamma not equal to 90 degree. Orthorhombic, three unequal axes all perpendicular. A, B, C are not equal. Alpha equal to beta equal to gamma equal to 90 degree. Monoclinic, three unequal axes, one of which is perpendicular to other two. A, B, C are not equal. Alpha equal to gamma equal to 90 degree, which is not equal to beta. Triclinic, three unequal axes, no two of which are perpendicular. A is not equal to B, is not equal to C. Alpha is not equal to beta, is not equal to gamma, is not equal to 90 degree. So now we are going to discuss about the heat treatment. Objective of heat treatment: it increase the strength, hardness, and wear resistance, to increase ductility and softness, increase toughness, to obtain fine grain size, to remove internal stresses induced by differential deformation by cold working, non-uniform cooling from high temperature during casting and welding, that is by means of stress relief annealing, to improve machinability, full annealing and normalizing, to improve cutting properties of steel, hardening and tempering, to improve surface properties, surface hardening, corrosion resistance, stabilizing treatment, and high temperature resistance, precipitation hardening, surface treatment, to improve electrical property, to improve magnetic properties. So these are all the objectives of heat treatment process. So we have three steps in heat treatment process. First, we have to heat it, and choking, cooling. Choking is we have to keep it in the constant temperature. That is what's choking. Then we have to cooling. This is what the heat treatment steps. Then overview of heat treatment process. We have bulk and surface heat treatment. Below the bulk we have annealing, normalizing, hardening, tempering, mod tempering, os tempering. In annealing, we have some types: full annealing, recrystallization annealing, stress relief annealing, spherization annealing. In surface, we have thermal, thermochemical. Thermal, we have flame, induction, laser, electron beam. Thermochemical, carburizing, nitriding, carbonitriding. Annealing, it is a heat treatment process in which a material is taken to an elevated temperature, kept there for some time, and then left to cool, usually in the furnace. Purpose of annealing are to relieve internal or residual stress, to increase softness, ductility, toughness, and machinability. Stages of annealing: heating to required temperature, which is defined according to the objective of annealing. Choking at the required temperature by leaving the heat treated material for choking of half an hour for every 20 mm thickness. Cooling step is done slowly inside the furnace by switch off the furnace after the soaking. This will achieve about 50 to 100 degrees Celsius per hour cooling rate. So first step is heating, soaking, cooling. This is what the heat treatment process. Now we will see the types of annealing process. First one is stress relief annealing. It is used to eliminate and or minimize stresses arising from plastic deformation during machining or forming process. Stress relief annealing allows these stresses to relax. Annealing temperatures are relatively low so that useful effect of cold working are not eliminated. Heating temperature for stress relief annealing is between 625 to 650. So 625 to 650 is the stress relief annealing temperature. 650. This is the stress relief temperature. Recrystallization and grain growth annealing. It is used to eliminate residual and internal stress and create new grains that will be coarse grains. This process leads to increase the ductility and workability. Heating temperature for recrystallization is about 650 to 670. So it is up to 670. For stress relieving, 625 to 650. From 650 to 670, we have recrystallization and grain growth annealing. Spherization annealing. It is long soaking time heating just below the reductoid temperature of the 727 degrees Celsius by about 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. This will produce soft spheroidite structure that could be needed in subsequent forming operation. It is usually performed for plain carbon steel for more than 0.45 weight percentage. Full annealing process. It is a heat treatment process essentially to produce soft steels suitable for all forming and machining process by heating up the steel to reach austenite phase region, then let the steel to slow cool inside the furnace. The resulting are coarse perlite and possible pro-ectotoid phase according to the carbon content of the steel. Normalizing. It is similar to annealing except that during cooling stage, the material is cooled at faster rate than annealing, usually outside the furnace in air. Purpose of annealing to control more precisely a defined grain size to produce finer perlite mixture and finer pro-ectotoid phase. Stages of normalizing. In order to achieve the objective of normalizing, heat-treated steel alloys are heated up to the austenite region according to the steel composition. Then the treatment is completed by cooling into air after predetermined soaking time of 10 to 20 minutes for every 10 mm thickness. So this is what the normalizing region. Hardening is the process of heating the steel to temperatures sufficient to produce an austenite condition depending on the carbon content of steel, followed by rapid cooling at the rate fast enough to prevent the transformation to any product phase differ than martensite. This cooling type is called quenching process. Purpose: inducing high hardness and achieving high wear resistance for steel. Hardening is done to all heavy-duty carbon steel machine parts and almost all machine parts made up of all steel types. Stages of hardening. In order to achieve the objective of hardening, plain carbon steels are heated up to temperature depending upon the steel composition. This is the hardening region. Heat treatment process. Case hardening, in that carbazing, nitriding, carbonitriding, chromizing and boronizing. Precipitation hardening, solution treatment, quenching, precipitation treatment. Furnace for heat treatment, we have fuel fire furnace, in that gas, oil or that. Electric furnace, that is batch furnace, continuous furnace or that. Quenching medium, first one is water. This is the most common quenching medium. It is inexpensive, convenient to use and provides very rapid cooling. It is used primarily for low carbon steels where the heat must be extracted from the steel rapidly in order to obtain good hardness and strength. Although water provides a sudden drastic quench, it can cause internal stress, distortion or cracking. For best results, water should be used at room temperature. Next quenching medium is oil quenching. Oil is more gentle than water and is used for more critical pots which have thin section or shape, sharp edges. Since oil is more gentle, it develops less internal stress, distortion, or cracking. However, oil does generally does not produce as hot or strong of steel as water. Therefore, the decision must be made by the designer of pot which is more important, hardness and strength or minimizing cracking and distortion. So which quenching medium the designer and the application based upon that we have to select. Air quenching is much less drastic than either oil or water. High speed fan blows room temperature air over the steel pots. The slower rate decreases the distortion, internal stress, and cracking. Air quenching is usually used on high alloy metal such as chromium and molybdenum. Brain quenching, brain in water with 5 to 10% salt added. The speed is slightly faster than water and therefore more drastic in regards to cracking and distortion. It is also effective at removing surface scale from the pots since the salt causes mini explosion on the pot surface that blows off the scale. Hardening, we have induction and flame hardening. Induction, inducted eddy current heat the surface of the steel very quickly and is quickly followed by a jet of water to quench the component. A hard outer layer is created with the soft core. The slideway on lathe or induction hardened. Flame hardening, gas flames raise the temperature of the outer surface above the upper critical temperature. The core will heat by conduction. Water jet quench the component. Case hardening. Case hardening is a process used with mild steel to give a hard skin. The metal is heated to cherry red and is dipped in carbon powder. It is then repeated 2 to 3 more times before quenching the metal in the water to harden the skin. This allows the surface of mild steel to be able to subject to wear, but the soft core is able to subject to sudden shock. Example, tool holders. These are the outline of heat treatment process for surface hardening. Carburizing, low carbon steel. Carbonitriding, metal hardener is low carbon steel, and procedure is heat steel at 700 to 800 degrees Celsius in the atmosphere of the carbonaceous gas and ammonia, then quenching oil. Surface hardens 55 to 62 HRC and application is bolt nuts gears. Carburizing, heat steels at 870 to 950 degrees Celsius in atmosphere of carbonaceous or carbon containing solids. Characteristics are a hard high carbon surface is produced. Hardness is 55 to 65 HRC. Applications are gear, cam, shafts, bearing, piston pins, sprocket, clutch plates. In cyaniding, metals hardened as low carbon steel. Element added is carbon and nitrogen. Procedures heat steel at 760 to 845 degrees Celsius in a molten bath of solution of cyanide. Surface hardens up to 65 HRC and it is used for bolts, nuts, screws and small gears. Nitriding, heat steels at 500 to 600 degrees Celsius in an atmosphere of ammonia gas or mixture of molten cyanide salt. No further heat treatment. Surface hardness up to 1100 HV. Applications are gears, shafts, sprocket, valves, cutters, boring bars, fuel injection pump parts. Boronizing part is heated using boron-containing gas or solid in contact with part. Extremely hard and wear-resistant surface, tool and die steels. Flame hardening, medium carbon steels, cast irons. Surface is heated with an oxyacetylene torch, then quenched with water spray or other quenching method. Surface hardness varies 50 to 60 HRC. These applications are gear, sprocket, teeth, axial, crankshaft, piston rod, lathe bit, and centers. Last one is induction hardening. Metal parts is placed in copper induction coils and is heated by high frequency current, then quenched. Okay. The characteristics and applications are like as above. Next one is iron carbon equilibrium diagram. Various phases that appears on iron carbon equilibrium diagram are austenite, ferrite, pearlite, cementite, martensite, ladybirite. Let's see one by one. Ferrite is known as alpha solid solution. It is an interstitial solid solution of a small amount of carbon dissolved in alpha iron, that is BCC. The maximum solubility is 0.025% of carbon at 723 degrees Celsius, and it dissolves only 0.008% of carbon at room temperature. It is a soft and brittle structure that appears on the diagram. Pearlite is the eclectoid mixture containing 0.8% of carbon and is formed at 723 degrees Celsius on very slow cooling. It is very fine plate-like or laminar mixture of ferrite and cementite. So pearlite is the mixture of ferrite and cementite. The white ferritic background or the matrix contains thin plate of cementite. Austenite, it is an interstitial solid solution of carbon dissolved in gamma iron, that is FCC. Maximum solubility is 2.0% at 1130 degrees Celsius. High formability. Most of heat treatments begins with single phase. It is normally not suitable at room temperature, but under certain conditions, it is possible to obtain austenite at room temperature. Next phase is cementite or iron carbide. That is Fe3C. Is very hard, brittle intermetallic component of iron and carbon, as cementite contains 6.67% of carbon. It is the hardest structure that appears on the diagram. Its crystal structure is orthorhombic. It has low tensile strength and high compressive strength. Ladybirite is the epithet mixture of austenite and cementite. So it is a mixture of austenite and cementite. It contains 4.3% of carbon and it is formed at 1130 degrees Celsius. Next one is martensite, a supersaturated solid solution of carbon in ferrite. It is formed when steel is cooled so rapidly that the change from austenite to pearlite is suppressed. The interstitial carbon atoms distort the BCC ferrite into BC tetragonal structure, responsible for the hardness of quenched steel. So here we have iron carbon diagram. So here the horizontal line gives the percentage of carbon. So it starts from 0.008 to 6.67. So vertical line which gives the temperature. So at the point 0.8, we have the eclectoid region. At the 4.3 percentage of carbon at the temperature 1130 degree Celsius, we have the eclectic point we can get. So this is the alpha region or ferrite region. This is the gamma austenite, and here we have the pearlite. Above this, above 1539, we have the liquid region. So this is liquid, this is austenite. In between we have liquid first plus austenite. So this is the delta ion. So in between the portion is gamma plus delta, and above this we have liquid. So in between portion is liquid plus delta. Then below this eclectoid we have pearlite. The pearlite is the mixture of ferrite and cementite. And below the eclectic we have the austenite plus cementite, that is known as ladybirite. In this region, austenite combination is more, so it is austenite plus ladybirite. So in this region, ladybirite is 100%. This region, cementite plus ladybirite combination is there. Then below that we have pearlite, cementite, and transformed ladybirite is there. That is what this area. And this area is cementite, transformed ladybirite we can get. So from this point to 2% of carbon, that is split into two division. From 0 to 0.8 we have the hypoeclectoid steel. From 0.8 to 2 we have hypereclectoid steel. From 2 to 4.3 hypoeclectic cast iron. From 4.3 to 6.67 we have hypereclectic cast iron. So below 2% of carbon, that is known as steel. Above the 2%, that is cast iron. Three main phase reactions are peritectic at 1490 degrees Celsius with low weight percentage of carbon alloy. Eutectic at 1130 degrees Celsius with 4.3 weight percentage of carbon alloy is called cast iron. Eutectoid at 723 degrees Celsius with eutectoid composition of 0.8 weight percentage of carbon, two phase mixtures, that is ferrite and cementite. They are steel. So that is what here at 720 degrees Celsius, 0.8 percentage of carbon we have eutectoid. So at 4.3 percentage of carbon at the temperature of 103 degrees Celsius we have eutectic. Okay. Then we have peritic 1149 degrees Celsius, and we have with the low percentage, that is 0.16 percentage of carbon we have get the peritectic. These are the main three phases in iron carbon diagram. Hypoeclectoid steel. Steels having less than 0.8 percentage of carbon are called hypoeclectoid steel. At high temperature, the material is entirely austenite. Upon cooling, it enters a region where the stable phase are ferrite and austenite. The low carbon ferrite nucleates and grows, leaving the remaining austenite richer in carbon. Hypoeutectoid steel. At 723 degrees Celsius, the remaining austenite will have assumed the eutectoid composition, and further cooling transforms it to pearlite. The resulting structure is a mixture of primary or pro-eutectoid ferrite and region of pearlite. Hyper-eutectoid steel are those contains more than the eutectoid amount of carbon. The process is similar to hypoeutectoid steel, except that the primary or pro-eutectoid phase is now cementite instead of ferrite. So this is the summary. Phase ferrite, we have BCC structure, characteristics soft, ductile, and magnetic. Austenite, FCC structure, characteristics are soft, moderate strength, non-magnetic. Then phases cementite, crystal structure are compound of iron and carbon cementite. Characteristics are hard and brittle. Next title is engineering stress strain plot. This is for tensile test. In elastic region, so we have this is elastic region, plastic region. So initially it is increased linearly up to the point y. Okay. In elastic region, the relationship between stress and strain is linear, and the material exhibits elastic behavior by returning to its original length when the load is released. So here x-axis we have strain, y-axis we have stress. As the stress increases, some point in the linear relationship is finally reached at which the material begins to yield. This yield point, this is the yield point of the material, can be identified in the figure by changing in the slope at the end of the linear region. After that, the slope changes as the load is increased beyond the yield point. Elongation of the specimen proceeds, but at a much faster rate than before, causing the slope of curve to change dramatically. Elongation is accomplished by uniform reduction in cross-sectional area consistent with maintaining constant volume. Finally, the applied load reaches a maximum value and the engineering stress calculated at the point is called the tensile strength or ultimate tensile strength or ultimate tensile strength of the material. So this is the maximum value. This is the ultimate tensile stress. To the right of the tensile strength on the stress strain curve, the load begins to decline and the test specimen typically begins a process of localized elongation known as necking. So this is the localized elongation. Instead of continuing to strain uniformly throughout its length, straining become concentrated in small section of the specimen. The area of that section narrows down significantly until failure occurs. The stress calculated immediately before failure is known as fracture stress. So ductility is the ability of material to plastically strain without fracture. Then types of stress strain relationship. First one is perfectly elastic. So the curve is linear. The behavior of this material is defined completely by its stiffness indicated by the modulus of elasticity E. It fractures rather than yielding through plastic flow. Brittle materials such as ceramic, many cast irons, and thermostatic polymer possess stress strain curve that falls into the category. These materials are not good candidates for forming operation. Elastic and perfectly plastic. This material has a stiffness defined by Young's modulus. Once the yield strength Y is reached, the material deforms plastically at the same stress level. Flow curve whose strength coefficient K is equal to Y. and whose strain hardening exponent n is equal to 0. Metals behaves in this fashion when they have been heated to sufficiently high temperatures that they crystalline rather than strain harden during deformation. Lead exhibits this behavior at room temperature. Elastic and strain hardening. This material obeys Hooke's law in the elastic region. It begins to flow at its yield strength Y. Continued deformation requires an ever-increasing stress given by flow curve whose strength coefficient K is greater than Y and whose strain hardening exponent n is greater than 0. The flow curve is generally represented as a linear function on the natural logarithmic plot. Most ductile material behaves this way when cold work. Okay, this is the structure of the curve. Now we will discuss the gate question and answer. First question is the material property which depends only on the basic crystal structure is fatigue strength, work hardening, fracture strength, elastic constant. Answer is C. Fracture strength be a material property which depends on the crystal structure. It also depends on the strength of the material. The effective number of lattice points in the unit cell of simple cube, body-centered cube, and face-centered cubic space lattice respectively is 1, 1, gamma 2, gamma 4. This is the answer. For the unit cell for simple cubic is 1, unit cell for body-centered cubic is 2, and the unit cell for face-centered cubic is 4. Next question is the crystal structure of austenite is BCC, FCC, HCC, body-centered tetragonal. Answer is B. Austenite is a solid solution of carbon in ion. It has FCC structure. Okay, it has a solid solubility of up to 2% of carbon at 1130 degrees Celsius. During normalizing process of steel, the specimen is heated between the upper and lower critical temperature and cooling in still air. Above the upper critical temperature and cooled in furnace. Above the upper critical temperature and cooled in still air. Between the upper and lower critical temperature and cooled in furnace. Answer is B. Normalizing involves prolonged heating just above the critical temperature to produce globular form of carbon and then cooled in air. The process of reheating the martensitic steel to reduce brittleness without any significant loss in the hardness is normalizing. Match the heat treatment process and their associated effect on properties of medium carbon steel. Tempering, quenching, annealing, normalizing, strengthening and grain refinement, induction toughness, hardening, softening. So tempering is the induction toughness, quenching is for hardening, annealing for softening, normalizing which gives the strengthening and grain refinement. So answer is B. Tempering is a process of induction toughness. Quenching is done to make metal hard and the main objective is to produce martensite. Annealing is done to soften the material and quenching medium of annealing is furnace. Normalizing refines the grain structure and strengthening the material. Medium is air. The crystal structure of gamma iron is austenite is FCC. Hardenability of steel is a measure of ability to retain its hardness when it is heated to elevated temperatures, ability to harden when it is cold worked, the depth to which required hardening is obtained when it is austenized and then quenched, the maximum hardness that can be obtained when it is austenized and then quenched. So answer is C. The depth to which required hardening is obtained when it is austenized and then quenched. Which one of the following type of stress-strain relationship best describes the behavior of brittle material, such as ceramic and thermosetting plastic? So the answer is D, because this is the best suited for ceramic and thermosetting plastic. We know that brittle material does not show elongation when external load is applied on them, and altered certain amount of load, they get cracked from unexpected point. The amount of ultimate load and point of fracture cannot be predetermined, and elongation is also very, very less. So the properties are best described by the option D. The crystal structure of austenite is, so it is FCC. From the iron carbon diagram, we can easily understand. The main purpose of spheroidizing treatment is to improve hardenability of low carbon steel, missionability of low carbon, hardenability of high carbon, missionability of high carbon. So this is the missionability of high carbon. So far we discussed about the crystal structures, heat treatment, iron carbon equilibrium phase diagram, engineering stress strain plot, and some of the gate question answer. These are the reference. Happy learning. Thank you.